like, you're 70? Oh my God!
Right.
I said, what's all in your attitude, you know? So. Okay, I'm ready. Hi, I'm Ronita, and when I think about describing who I am and what I've done, lately I've been in my creative stream of writing and performing a one-woman show called Forgivable. Past life, professional life, diversity consultant, life coach, facilitator. It's been a good life. So the subject of love is it's so complex, it's so complicated, and finding your way through it is a journey. I got engaged when I was 21 years old to this man in the town of Shreveport, Louisiana, who was the catch. He was the dentist's son, and according to my mother and what she saw, he was the man to marry. We eventually both ended up in the Bay Area and ended up being engaged, and I was like on cloud 9. 6 bridesmaids, 4 junior bridesmaids, 600 guests. Oh, I can't tell you how overjoyed I was. I was so in love with this man. The sun rose on him and the moon set on him. And it didn't do that for me, but he was my everything. 3 weeks before the wedding, he called it off. And I thought I would die. I did die in some ways. I did die because I wasn't in love with myself. And that was a journey. I realize now that if it had not been for him calling that wedding off, I don't think I would ever have come to know myself. I would never have come to understand my strength, my courage, my faith. I would never have come to understand that we are mind, we are heart, we are spirit, and we are love. And what was missing out of that whole scenario is that I was loving him, but I didn't love myself. It was some 30 years, maybe not 30 years, some 20 years later that I met the love of my life. And I realize now that had I not been through that pain, that heartbreak, that struggle, that not wanting to get up in the morning, not wanting to do anything, not wanting to live, that I would not have been able to see and appreciate the wonderful person that I ended up with, who loved me, but could meet me because I loved myself. You know, we often hear this, "you complete me" phrase that men and women use when they meet another person. And my phrase is, I complete me. I complete me. And so it's not my half and your half when it comes to making a whole around love. It's you have a whole and I have a whole. And one, not it's just 2, but it's 102, because you're complete and I'm complete. And for me, that's really what love is all about, that I have to first love me, because I can't give you what I don't have. I can't love you if I don't love myself totally and completely and know that I'm all that. It's not easy finding the courage and standing up and being brave when you had your heart broken like that. And my heart was crushed. I didn't even know I had a heart. I wanted to pull my heart out of my chest. But there was this knowing inside of me that had always been inside of me, but I didn't recognize it as a knowing. I didn't trust it as the wisdom that we all have. So how do we recognize the wisdom, the knowing that we have inside of ourselves? And I had to really begin to listen to what was going on inside of me in a way that I had not before, and to trust it, and to know that we all deserve good in this world. We all deserve love in this world. But sometimes we're so busy listening to other people and not listening to ourselves that we get sidetracked, and we think that what's good for that other person is good for us. And we don't trust our own wisdom. And being alone is a good thing, because we get a chance to synthesize what's ours and what's not ours. And often we feel we have to be with somebody else. We're afraid to be with ourselves. So I had many, many years of loneliness and being by myself. But in that quietness and that reflection of journaling about who I was and reading books about really the wisdom that we have within ourselves, and creating the space that I wasn't so busy doing. I was listening to the spirit of who I am and seeing that I had something to give to myself first. Trusting that I was somebody, trusting that I had a big heart and that love would find me, and not rushing and running to another person because I didn't feel complete. But just spending that alone time, that silent time, that reflective time with myself, so that I could prepare myself for whatever was waiting for me. I'm not saying that's easy. It's not. It's very lonely, or it can be very lonely. I found it lonely. But there was that part in me that knew and trusted that it would be all right. And I mean, there were times when I was impatient, but I just said, okay, I just have to just stay with this and believe and trust that it's going to be all right. And it was all right. But that period of time when in that barren land within myself, because I wanted to be with someone, I knew that I had a lot of love to give. It was not easy. But it's about trusting that instinct that we all have. But we need friends. I did have a few friends in my life who we encouraged each other because they were in the same boat. They hadn't had an engagement that had been broken, but they also were looking for love. And so we need we need a few people to be with us and encourage us. But we got to be careful about our relationships too, our girlfriends and our men friends in the communities that we find ourselves in, because they can pull us down. So understanding that right action, that right fit, that right partnership in terms of what is supporting you, supporting me to become this person, that's important too, to filter out the bad weeds, because people sometimes want to pull you down when you're already down. So being willing to say no and being able to recognize that no in terms of the people that are around you is really, really important. And so it means that you may be alone sometimes, you may be by yourself, but just knowing and trusting inside of yourself that there's a better way, and that you will find that love. You just have to wait and not be the okie doke. Because sometimes we just like, oh, I so desperately want to be with somebody, I'll go for the okie doke. And we know what's good for us and we know what's not good for us. And sometimes because we so desperately want to be with someone, we want to have somebody to hold us and someone to kiss us and someone to love us. And, we compromise. And so it's important to spend that time knowing yourself, and then from there you can understand and trust when you meet somebody else. Love is a funny thing. That heart will tell you this is love, but it may not be. It may just be infatuation. It may be lust. It may be I just want to get it on, in terms of that sexual activity. And all that's good too, but it's important to trust yourself and to know yourself. And that means oftentimes to spend that alone time with yourself, getting to know who you are.